There's Synth Drones. Today we're going to be talking about slimming down my studio. Hi, I'm Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to keep up with all of my synth adventures. Okay, so straight to the point. I want to mention patreon.com/Pure Ambient Drone. Go over there and support me over there, please. It would really encourage me to continue doing this. With that being said, all those links are going to be in the description of this video and a comment. Okay, now we can jump into the video. So basically, I have been selling some synthesizers, and I will tell you right now that I got rid of the Prophet 6 module, and I've gotten rid of the OB6 as well. I know that I had a love for them, but I don't think I have a need for them anymore. And one of the things I want to point out is I do have a Prophet X, and 8DO has just released a Prophet 5 sample pack for the Prophet X. And I've been listening to their video on it, and wow, it's pretty incredible. And I'm thinking a Prophet 5 with all of the Prophet X effects as well. And they do deep sampling with their sample packs, as everyone knows that knows anything about 8DO. So I'm thinking if I added that to my arsenal with the Rev 2 I already have, and then I have the Poly Evolver, you know, there was some redundancy in my studio, and we're not looking at cheap synthesizers, okay? For just setting them around and not using them as much as they should be used for the price that they're asking for these synthesizers, it made no sense to me just to keep them around. But I think the biggest incentive was for me to walk into the studio and be overwhelmed with the amount of choices that I have. If you go to my channel and you look up some of my earlier videos, you will find that I had everything laid out on tables. And I don't know, I go back and I watch my videos where I was performing, and for some reason, I just think that there was a different kind of creativity with that kind of a workflow. And I want to get back to that workflow. And I've been watching videos of some of the real big pros that are out there, and they say, you know, I went this direction with my workflow, then I went that direction with my workflow. I think we have to find a workflow that makes us happy. And when I look back at my older videos, I was happier with my workflow back then. And, you know, we get carried away sometimes with gear. It's just a fact of life, okay? When you love something, we can become obsessed with it. And with me, I had an opportunity through local companies hiring me out to do some music soundtracks for some of their little movies they were doing here, or commercials or whatnot. It afforded me the opportunity to get a lot of the synthesizers that I wanted and or needed, okay? But now I come into the studio because I'm done with that type of work for now, and I don't know if I'll get back into it because it's very demanding and very time-consuming, and it can be stressful. But I come into the studio now, and then I'm just overwhelmed. It's like, okay, all of these choices, what do I do? And I got into music because I love music. And I didn't get into music to turn it into stressful job. Because I did that in the 90s with computers. There was a time in the 80s that I fell in love with computers. And then in the early 90s, I went into it in such a way that I ended up burning out. And, you know, I still use computers, but I don't love them like I used to because I turned it into a job. I saw myself doing this with synthesizers, turning it into a job. And I was no longer creating for myself, but I was creating for others. And I got burned out on that, and I just don't want to do it anymore. And I don't know if I'll ever want to do it again. I pretty much, you know, I'm 51 years old, and I kind of know myself at this age. And I know that when I get burned out on something, I've usually had it. I don't want to get burnout on music itself that I create for me, okay? I want to be able to sit down in the studio and make music that I love, that I enjoy, and that I would feel comfortable sharing with the rest of the world. So I hope that makes sense to everyone out there listening. So my workflow and the overwhelming amount of synthesizers that I carry here has become more of a burden than a joy. And I think there's a lot to be said, because what happens is when you have a lot of synthesizers, for me, this I'm talking about just for myself here, okay? You may have a different story, and I would love to hear that, and so would the rest of us in the comments below. Tell us your story. But my story is this. I would break out a synthesizer and just tinker with it, tinker with it, tinker with it, tinker with it, and play with it, and then, you know, just feel this feeling of overwhelming pressure that because I paid for it, now I should use it. And I know that that sounds silly to some people. I get it. And there's all kinds of psychological head games you can play with yourself to overcome that. And there's all kinds. But you know what? I'm a person who likes simplicity, but I'm also a person that likes flexibility. And there has to be a medium ground here. So with the Prophet X giving me the ability to load in the Prophet 5, which I have not purchased yet, but I am intending to do so, it's going to give me something, I think, that is close enough to at least the Prophet 6 that I had. And it's not going to be the same machine. It won't be. But I don't think I ever used the Prophet 6 in my own productions to the fullest extent that it could have been used. Which leads me to another topic, you know, a subtopic of this topic, and that is, do we sometimes buy synthesizers because of all of the features, and then we end up not using all of those features anyway? You see what I mean? Are we utilizing our synthesizers to the fullest extent? And I've said before, it's better to have a few pieces of gear where you know them inside and out than to have 10, 20, 30, or 40 choices of gear and you only know each one of them basically preset button and maybe filter cutoff. I don't know, resonance. You are cheating yourself when you have too many synthesizers and you don't know them inside and out. And I'm not saying that it's impossible to have a whole arsenal of synthesizers in a room and be able to utilize every one of them, because I know for a fact that tons of people do that. But for my life, where it is now, and my direction that I want to go in, for me, it's time to slim down my synth gear. On the chopping block are going to be some more synthesizers, and when they're gone, and I made the final decision of which ones are going, I'll let you guys know. I might even do a studio tour. But if you haven't already done so, you might want to check out patreon.com/Pure Ambient Drone, because I do a behind-the-scenes exclusive, full, blown-out studio tour of all of the synthesizers and all of the gear and all of my audio chain. I mean, I go into it extensively in a video over there that you can't find on this channel. And when you guys see how much gear I actually have, you're going to understand this video a little bit better. That's patreon.com/Pure Ambient Drone. If you guys would support me over there, that would be fantastic. And you're going to get some videos over there that you won't find over here, and some insights that you won't find over here as well. So I'm still building that up over there, and with more Patreon support, I can do more videos over there as well. So I'm looking for you guys to help me out. But in the meantime, leave a comment here, hit the subscribe button, and then check out the links below that I'm going to be leaving in this video, and I'll be leaving in a comment. So till next time, keep calm and synth on.